Alright, so welcome back to Jim Bob's Garden. So, what I got going on here is, this is my Bok Choy. So, I bought some Bok Choy plants at Eat Your Yard Jacks down here. It's a great spot. Go look them up on the internet if you're in the Jacksonville area. And what I did not realize at the time, and I must admit, they did not tell me, I wish they had, is that Bok Choy, if you let it get cold, if it goes down below 50 degrees, it will bolt. So as soon as I planted these suckers, they bolted out. So, is it a complete loss? Not really. Because what I can do is I can take seeds. So here, you see these little pods right here? These pods have seeds in them. Now, we're going to assume that these are viable seeds. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect those pods in my little jar here, and then I am going to try and grow another batch of Bok Choy from that. Apparently it's a fairly heat tolerant plant from what I understand. So I should be able to get some started here shortly and hopefully actually get some Bok Choy. It's supposed to be a really good food plant. So now when you get these seeds, you're wanting the pods that are kind of turning brown, or at least really close to, is what I've found on the radishes and various other plants. Like this one here looks good. But you have to be really careful when you do this, because if you're not careful, what'll happen, these pods will open, like that one's trying to, and the seeds will spill out all over the ground. Which is okay, because if I get some volunteer Bok Choy here, as long as I can recognize what it is, that is not going to hurt my feelings at all. Alright, so I'm going to take the parts that look like they're yellow, stuff them in there, and I'm going to open them up, and I'm going to plant a whole bunch. Now, for those of you who are, I don't want to put this, concerned about apocalyptic situations, or who are thinking that, you know, you need to be prepared for apocalyptic situations, you have to be able to grow seed. If you don't grow seed, and you're in a bad situation, you may or may not be able to get seeds. It doesn't even have to be an apocalypse. I don't know if you all heard about what's going on with the coronavirus in Michigan. Oh, I just accidentally cut off a whole bunch of them, so I guess I'll keep that. But part of their stay-at-home order is that they are not allowed to sell seeds or any kind of gardening products right now in Michigan, which I think is ridiculous. But that's the situation. So if that's the case and you don't have any seeds and you got plants that need to go out now, guess what? You're kind of out. The other thing, my theory, and I do not have proof of this, but my theory is once you get plants growing well enough to provide a harvest and then provide seed, if you take seed from the plants that you have grown, then what you will find, well, hopefully what you'll find, what I'm hoping I'll find, is that over time, these seeds will adapt, or these plants will adapt more and more to your particular climate, your particular ecology, your soil conditions, and so on. And you'll get your own varieties that do well, because you're not going to want to take seeds from bad plants. But I do this all over. Like you'll see, I've got a radish here that's starting to bolt out, and it's going to make seeds, and I want to take the seeds from that radish. I'm going to show you this over here. If you look right here, that is a big dill plant. I think it was huge. And you can see that the seeds are right here, are just falling where they will. I allow my dill to essentially seed out and then just put, dill plants. I'll get volunteer dill plants all over the place. And then back over here, you'll see my lettuce stand. You're like, what the heck? That is some ugly lettuce, man. You can't eat that. You're right, I can't. Oh, look, right there is one of my dills. At any rate, so what you find, obviously any lettuce you get from a bolted plant like this is tough. It's like real hard, harsh lettuce, not edible. But look at all these seed pods. And what's going to happen is all this seed is going to broadcast. And in this particular garden, I planted lettuce here, hang on, 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And I have yet to have to replant lettuce in this particular garden. I also get it all the way out there. I get it all over the place. I did a thing on invasive plants that talked about it. But I do that with a lot of different things. You can see I've allowed some of the lettuce there to bolt out. All right, and then if you look down here along the pavers, right here, you'll see this is my cilantro, which is starting to make seed. And once again, I allow them to fall where they will. And when I see a cilantro plant growing up, I just let it grow. That's how I go ahead and collect my seed. One, I allow some to just broadcast themselves, and I take what I can get. Others, I actually collect the seeds, and sometimes I'll do both. Like I'm going to try, I think this year on these that are in this garden, to collect some of the seeds, and then I'll have actual seed if I want to move it somewhere else besides where it just volunteers. The dill seed, man, I have tons and tons of dill seed, so that's not an issue. The bok choy, it would be really nice to go ahead and get some bok choy seed. Radish seed, I ended up buying radish seed this year, so I'm going to let some of that go, and I'm going to collect as much of that as I can. I've yet to be able to get carrots to seed out. I don't know if that's because we eat them too fast or what the situation is. I will look into that. I need to look into it and find out exactly what's going on. All right, all of my zinnias, all of my marigolds, which I grow to bring in pollinators, and the marigolds are real good at keeping some of the bugs away because they are a very aromatic plant. So those, once again, they're all from my own seed. And you know, every couple bucks you don't have to spend is a couple bucks you don't have to spend. The garlic, I have yet to get good seed out of. And the onions, I have gotten some seed, but for some reason I have a hard time growing onions from seed. So I've been buying the starts, the little tiny bulbs, and that has seemed to have been working real well for me. But we're going to see. I've got some seeding out over here, and then some of the walking onions seeded out over there, and we're going to see if we can actually collect and grow some seed from that this year. All right, but that's what I do with my garden. That's how I go about collecting seeds. And remember, just because things didn't work out like you wanted them to, doesn't mean that it's a total loss. Like with the bok choy, now I've got some seeds. I'm going to start some plants in the house, and hopefully here in a couple of weeks I'll have some brand new bok choy plants that will not get cold and will not immediately bolt out. At least that's my plan. All right, so thanks once again for stopping by. Like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Grow something.